Hello, this is Malorian, and now what we're going to have here is a triple feature for mercenaries, for War Machine. So I went down to the shop. This is the last week of the Journeyman League. So, obviously at this point I wasn't going to win. I can't even make it to the steamroller because of how I have to go back and forth. But hey, I might as well go and get these last games in there and have some fun with mercenaries before I go back to one of my other factions. Going into the first game was going to be really interesting because I knew going in I was going to be going up against a double Kraken list. Like this, the guy was posting up about how he had now two painted up. He wanted to test them out and said, "Sure, I'll take that on." So I really was having to play around with what I was going to do with this. Obviously, I was going to do mercenaries, but I was talking to one of my friends who's kind of a more of a veteran with mercenaries, and he said there's really two paths I can take. One, I could take McBain and go with countermeasure to shut down the shooting and really just get in there and try and get the kill or something. Or two, I could go for something that has like Gorman for the rust bomb and Diane and Holt to do the harm and all this stuff, and really try and just hit it with hard-hitting jacks and try and take these Kraken out one at a time type thing. Maybe go with Epic Magnus to lock the other one in place. In the end, I decided to go with more of the infantry route because that's what I kind of love mercenaries for anyway, even though I'm kind of falling back to jacks now. But anyway, what I took in my list was McBain, and all I took was a freebooter. That's the only jack I took. Then I had the max unit of the Kayazi Assassins with Underboss, so they'd be great for getting up there. Helping them out was going to be the Piper for some extra toughness and, well, tough as well. Then the max unit of the Nis Hunters, I had Alexia and her Risen. I had Gorman, and then I also had Kale Baylock as well. So really just a whole bunch of infantry out there just to get out there and just go crazy, really. What he had on his side was Terminus, and then also the two Kraken and a Machine Wraith. So should be crazy. Let's see what happens. So here's a close-up of his army, and really, this is just going to be a tough nut to crack. I mean, of course, Colossals are always tough, so dealing with these Kraken is going to be really tough here. And then he's taking Terminus, who is also just a real hard guy to try and ever kill. The Machine Wraith, hey, I mean, whatever. I have, oh, sorry, I also have Epic Iris. And so between her and Kale Baylock's magical shots, I'm not too worried about that solo. It's just everything else, and just trying to find some way to deal with it. And here's a picture of my lines. I also had Reinhold. I forgot about that. He was just, I had 1 point in the end, so I tossed it in. But, this is why I love the mercenaries, is because there's all the infantry here and all the different type of infantry you can get. All right, and then here is a grand overview of what's going on. And the way that you play this game is that there is the monolith on either side. You can't do anything to them till turn 2. If you destroy one, you get a point. You have to destroy it before you can get the zone. The zone is worth 1, 2 if you dominate, and the first 1 to 5 wins. So really, he's just going to be putting a Kraken into either zone and then locking me down. So I don't think it's going to come down to scenario, especially since looking at the way he deployed, that's what he's planning to do. But for the most part, yeah, I just plan to get up there with countermeasure. Also get Epic Iris there between them so that they can't be allocated any focus. And then hopefully this look for some sort of assassination. So I get first turn. I'm just really rushing up the board. No, of course, no shooting or anything like that. Magic, I already have countermeasure up on the Kayazi. I have the failsafe there on the freebooter. And I have it so that the Kayazi are also tough and fearless. His turn, he just kind of moves up and he goes for some deviations. His Machine Wraith is actually in the middle of that forest right now, but both of them he gets lucky and both of them deviate into me, but the one on the left just deviated 1 inch and he failed to kill even the stupid little skeleton because he rolled like double ones or something. And then the one on the right, it did a little bit better. It killed 2 of my Kayazi who weren't tough. It killed Reinhold, who I didn't really care about anyway. And then it also got to Gorman, but again, he just rolled like garbage there and only did 1 box to him. So that was pretty lucky for me. All right, so now we're on to my turn 2. Really, the Kayazi just rushed on up. Kale Baylock tried to kill off that Machine Wraith. Now, because of its being Terminus, he was actually tough. So it took Epic Iris to go up and shoot him in the face, and now the Machine Wraith is gone. Otherwise, you can see it's just really a general advance. I made one Bane to go run up, tie up the left Kraken, just so that if he messes up his activations, then maybe I can start scoring on the left zone. But we'll have to see. And otherwise, Gorman just threw a smoke bomb in front of him, and yeah, made it so my guys were tough again. I could have popped feet this turn, but I decided against it. I mean, my guys are defense 17. He can't shoot, blah, blah, blah. But I think I'll be fine. His turn too, and he did have a lot of trouble. He actually put 3 focus on the, I think 3 or 2, onto the right Kraken, but it just could not kill anything because it missed. Then it went and knocked me down. I was tough, you know, then he attacked again, and I was tough, so the right one did nothing. The left one was able to, I believe, kill 1, which just really turned into a token for me. A token for both of us, really. And then he only got there because, yeah, Turnimus was able to go over, do a spray, and kill my Bane. So he is locking up both zones. Scenario is basically out of the question. Turnimus is too far back for the assassins, so I'll just need to spend a turn trying to reshuffle and, again, just wait. So my turn 3, I start working on the left objective, but oh man, my luck. The Nis Hunters go and do a big, huge combine into it, so I was looking forward to this POW 20, but rolled double ones to hit, so I did a whole bunch of nothing. The little skeletons go up and try and do a big combine, but of course nothing really is done there, so whatever, no big deal. Kill Baylock does 2 points of damage to the Kraken. I have a Bane that charges in, does a little bit more, and otherwise I'm just shifting over my assassins. Epic Iris is now there perfectly in the middle so that neither of them will be getting anything. I black oiled the right one and one of my assassins, and then otherwise this is now my turn for feet. I've now gone for the extra toughness on my guys, but pretty much all of my assassins and Epic Iris are all now unfailable tough. His turn 3 then, and there really is very little he can do. I mean, he can't shoot. Almost everything he can fight is super tough. So he does kill the one Bane that was with the left Kraken. Turnimus moves up. He's camping all of his focus, but that's really all he gets done on his turn. And then on my turn, I have Epic Iris come off, shoot off all that focus. Kale Baylock takes off 2 points of damage. The Nis Hunters go and combine to do some damage, and then I charge in with like 7 Kayazi, and yeah, Turnimus just couldn't stand up to all of it, and he goes down. So victory to McBain. I was able to beat the double Kraken, but really when it came down to it, I think it really was obviously countermeasure that saved my butt. If it wasn't for countermeasure, he just would have been there shooting all my guys. He also wanted to do a thing where he was able to kill guys and get shots after, but just because of countermeasures, really shut down a lot of what he could do. Of course, whenever you have black oil going in there, that's going to make one of your guys useless. Whenever you have Epic Iris there, so you can't allocate any focus, that's always really bad. And then Turnimus camping doesn't matter again when you have Epic Iris. So it was kind of a bad matchup. Interesting to see. I mean, I've gone up against single Colossals before, never double before. So this is the first time for that. I still have to face this, I know, Epic Haley double Stormwall sometime. But yeah, interesting game just to see the difference in the list. He was talking about how maybe he should have gone with Epic Scar, but really I don't think that would have worked out as well because he would have popped his feet so I couldn't hurt him. I would have popped my feet so he can't do anything to me, and then my Kayazi have an easier time killing Scar than killing, you know, Turnimus. So I think in the end, it wouldn't have really mattered that much. Really, it's probably just best to go and take something else instead of the double Kraken. But hey, it's just crazy to see they're on the battlefield. So then we got into the second game. This is a guy I've never faced before, and he's running Menoth. Now, I also decided to change my list up to be something, you know, different and faster because I'm trying to get all 3 games in this one day. So I switched up my list to be Epic Magnus, running, this is a tier 1, so running 2 Manglers that are a point cheaper. I got a Mule, I got the Freebooter, I also got a Buccaneer, and then I got Gorman and Kale Baylock. So a pretty, you know, just jack heavy, let's go get them type thing. On his side, he actually had some stuff I haven't seen before. I mean, he took Resnick, he took the Avatar, you usually see the Avatar, but he also took the Scourge, and this is a jack I've never faced off against, so that was kind of neat. He had a Choir, 2 Vassals, a Hierophant, and then the different type of exemplars. the crossbows and with the sword. So again, I mean, with all my jacks, of course, he can hit so hard that he can take out my jacks. But luckily, with Magnus's feet, hopefully I can lock him in place. But we'll have to see what happens. So here's a picture of my lines for this, and yeah, again, I forget a model. I also had the Renegade. But you know what? I just, I know I started Mercenaries to do the infantry, but man, I just love Jacks. You know, it's what really pulled me to Signar first, is the big Jack line with Darius. But you know, I love running the Jacks with Epic Magnus as well. So here we go again, and we'll see if we'll be able to pull it off. And here's an overview of the board. I didn't do a close-up of his stuff because it wasn't painted yet. And he also has Nicaea. Again, something I forgot. But how this one works here is that each of us has an objective on our side. Now, the way that it works is that if you control it with your caster, you can actually move it around 5 inches. And it also accounts for a caster for dominating. So you can use it to dominate stuff, to block charge lanes, or just to hide it. Because if you destroy the enemy objective, it's worth 1 victory point. You can also get a victory point by dominating the closer zone that's on your left, 1 point for controlling the enemy zone, the one on the right, or 2 points for dominating the enemy one. So lots of different ways to score. Very interesting scenario. And really, I just really don't even know the way that this game will go. Kale Baylock, of course, will be wonderful for killing off his infantry. And then really, I'm just hoping to go up there and kill his caster by locking him down. Having the avatar to the right, hopefully I can just kind of hold him in place and avoid him for most of the game. But that's really the plan. So he gets first turn, and he's just moving on up. He doesn't cast any spells, anything like that. Just a general advance. He probably could have moved up faster, but hey, I'm fine with where he is right now. All right, then my turn 1, and this was ridiculous. So Caleb Baylock, he takes aim, and he takes down 2 of the lead infantry there, right? Good job, Cale. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Then the stupid mule goes up, hoping for a good deviation. It deviates straight back 6 inches and kills K. Baylock. It's just, oh, I couldn't believe it. But whatever. Hey, I didn't need that awesome solo. Otherwise, I cast mobility, and really everything's pushing up hard on the left. At this point, I'm not really worried about him doing too much damage to those main 3 jacks. I have the Renegade in place, so I can maybe be doing a big shot later. Otherwise, I'm trying to be careful because I know Nicaea can be pretty good for, you know, charging through and killing stuff. And I have my Buccaneer over, so if the Avatar gets a little bit too pushy, I can just go over and try and lock him down. His turn, and he doesn't really get too much done. He's really just repositioning. So the crossbows move to the left. You know, the Avatar is pushing up, and the 2 vassals are right there behind. Nicaea's hiding inside the forest. And then, I mean, you have lots of guys here in front of Resnick, but of course, whenever you have Thresher on your weapons, I'm not too worried about that. So really, I think he gave me a really good chance to go for the caster kill. I can do a straight shot, an aim shot with the Renegade, and then hopefully just clear out a lane and send in my bonded Mangler, the one with a 1 at the back, and just seal the deal. Unfortunately, it doesn't go completely to plan, but hey, it didn't go that badly either. So really what happened is that first of all, I started with the Renegade. And I was a boosted shot, an aim boosted shot at Magnus, and I missed. And it scattered off and did pretty much nothing. So that was kind of a blow because, of course, it would have been nice to have him being damaged and knocked down, but whatever. So then I go in. Maybe I actually killed a few of the errants. I'm not sure. Then Mangler number 2 goes up. It does a Thresher, and it kills, I think, 3 more of them or something. I charge in with my bonded one, start hitting. Also, sorry, I think no, I did not. Sorry. I charge in there, boost to hit, do some damage, but at the end of the day, because of needing to boost to hit, and actually, well, yeah, not hitting automatically, really at the end of the day, I only did a little bit more than half damage. So Resnick will not be dead, unfortunately. The freebooter was able to go over and kill off 2 more of the crossbows. So my friendly zone is completely cleared out, but I just don't have anybody in there. Part of that was done because my Orin Midwinter shot my freebooter in the back and had to arc over to his guy. And then otherwise, I just really did a aim shot at the Avatar so that I'd have the extra distance, hoping for crit. Didn't get it because he actually kind of messed up his activation with the choir, didn't actually use the no shooty. But I hit him, and I thought I'd be killing those two vassals behind, but yeah, just did not happen. Did not realize how high their armor is when touching a jack. So they were both alive. Magnus then charged forward, well, moved forward, and popped his feet. And you can see from the dice there that you can't move towards my board edge or the left one. So that really locks them in place. The Avatar will not be a worry. And then, of course, I just moved up the Buccaneer to kind of block line of sight. His turn, he does what he can, but he's pretty much locked in place. So Resnick, he turns into his engine of destruction and he destroys that one Mangler, but that took all of his focus. So now he's pretty much sitting out there and pretty easy to kill. Otherwise, I cast mobility, and really everything's pushing up hard on the left. At this point, I'm not really worried about him doing too much damage to those main three jacks. I have the Renegade in place, so I can maybe be doing a big shot later. Otherwise, I'm trying to be careful because I know Nicaea can be pretty good for charging through and killing stuff. And I have my Buccaneer over, so if the Avatar gets a little bit too pushy, I can just go over and try and lock him down. So game 2 and a second win, so I was pretty excited for that. It was one of these things where Magnus's feat was just awesome. Again, this is a time where you can either use it for scenario or for caster kill, because you can just lock that caster in and then hit him with all you want. So that's where it works really well, especially with the heavy jack list. Now, he did have one option I was worried about, or he could have actually gone and ran away to the other zone. If he would have done that, he would have taken one free strike, would have been a little bit risky, could have killed him, but that could have been one way to get away. He could have then scored on the other zone, and then all of a sudden he's leading the scoring game. So that would have been one way he could have done it, but again, it was kind of risky. He decided just to kind of kill stuff, and he really didn't think I'd be able to charge in with Magnus. Forgot about how far I could go with mobility and the Pathfinder. Didn't know about the armor pierce, so thought maybe he could survive one Mangler worth, because he did pop his feet, so I couldn't actually allocate any focus to any of my jacks. So if it was just one jack with no focus, he'd survive that. But unfortunately, in comes Epic Magnus, and that's that. So that was awesome. 2 games, 2 wins, but I actually had time for one more. So this one now is going to be up against the store owner, and I mean, we've had, I think, 2 games now. I won the first one, he won the second one, but he's now playing with his Kalissa. It's all painted up just for you guys, because he's taken that heat from me from it not being painted up. With it, he's taken the Phoenix, he's taken the Chimera, and then what he's working on is he has the Strike Force, he has his Halberdiers with the UA. Then he also has a whole bunch of assassins. He has 2 of the assassins and the character one, and then yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a shooty list. And that's kind of a problem, because I took the same list just to try and meet fast. We had only about half an hour for the game, so I kept the same list. But the big thing is, I mean, normally Epic Magnus goes up, pushes feet, and you're just stuck. And it's like, aha, now I have control. But if your opponent is shooting you, they don't really care if they're stuck. So it's going to be an interesting game, and let's see what happens. So first of all, here's just a picture of his Kalissa. Yes, it's all painted and good to go. And, again, just love the look of his painting. I guess whenever he's doing his whites, the whites take like 7 coats or something. But, whenever you get this Retribution stuff painted up, it always looks so good. And so otherwise, this is what his main line looks like. He is starting to work on painting everything. This is usually a larger game that he normally plays. But, yeah, I mean, really, this package he has on the right with the 2 assassins and Narn, that's going to be a scary thing to deal with. So, I mean, not only I have to deal with all of his shooting and how it really rips up my jacks, but, I mean, he now has the really ability to charge in there, do crazy damage as well. So it's going to be kind of a difficult one to take on. And for my side, hey, I got my jack wall again. So, of course, usually it does better against stuff that doesn't have, like, super jack destroying crossbows, but you know what, again, if I can just get in there and lock him down, I can do some big damage. So here's our overview of the board. Like I said, we're kind of in a rush, so we're using the same mission, same terrain, off we go. So as you can really see, I'm kind of more focusing on the right zone. I want to try and win this one by scenario, where I'm going to charge in, clear it out, and then lock him out type thing with my feet. Unfortunately, that's going to be difficult, but I do have things lined up so that where he's coming in with his his strike force on the left. I'll be hitting him with the AoE from the mule. I can always go for an obliterate, and then also there's obliterator rocket as well. And I mean, that's the big thing I learned from last time playing them. I just have to kind of like throw that out there and hope to get lucky and kill these guys off. All right, so his first turn, he's kind of moving on up, but no spells out or anything like that. The big thing for me is that he did move up his halberdiers far enough so I could actually shoot them. So with Kill Baylock, I mean, I can't double tap them. The big thing, though, that I really did like that the way that he deployed is that his assassins are really tight in with the building. In fact, Narn is actually like touching it. And what that does is really takes away a lot of his charge lanes. So it gives me a nice little wedge in there where I can put my jacks and they'll mainly be safe. I'll have to probably be throwing something out there just as a throwaway to make sure that I don't lose a lot more. He doesn't get to tie up anything more important. But yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty good with the way that they went. So on my turn, I pretty much cast mobility and I'm just running on up to try and take position to really concentrate on that right zone. I move over with the mule and he shoots in and he's able to kill a couple of guys. I think I actually hit 4 of them with my blast, but I just could not roll the kill, so that's just the way it goes. Otherwise, you could see, I mean, hey, my 3-point Buccaneer, yeah, I'll throw that up there and he can help gum things up and make things difficult for him. And otherwise, yeah, I'm just trying to set myself up. Kill Baylock took a step forward and killed one of the halberdiers, but that's pretty much it. All right, so now on to his turn, and this was more deadly than I thought it was going to be. So on the left side, he goes shooting into my mule and right away destroys the gun. So that was pretty bad, but I thought, hey, at least he can go in there and help nullify that possible scenario points for him. Well, then in comes the Phoenix, and he does a shot and kills my mule. So all of a sudden, I have nothing over there. If Kaelissa decides to run over, he's going to start scoring 2 points every single turn. And that's a bad spot for me to be in. So what he also does is on the right side, charges in with one of the assassins, does tons of damage to the Buccaneer. Then in comes the Chimera, finishes me off. And he has one assassin that's starting to sneak around. Narn kind of pulled back to try and set up for some counter charges. But yeah, I'm really going to have to start getting something rolling on the right side because things are going to turn against me scenario-wise on the left really fast. So that's what I try and do. I have the freebooter go over and destroy the one assassin with some boost to hit. The one mangler goes over and softens up the Chimera. And then I know the big thing I want to do is not have anything on Magnus. No focus for him to steal. So I went charging in there, and unfortunately the way it went, I actually did more damage than I thought I would. So I'm sitting on 1, but the Chimera is destroyed. I have a foot in the 1 template there, so I do have a little boost to defense. And then otherwise, I just really tried doing a lot more damage to the assassins on the left, but it just did not work out. I fired in the obliterator rocket. I think I only killed 2 more or something like that. Kill Baylock took up a step to try and shoot 1, but missed. And really the only good news is that after I popped my feet, so he can't move towards my board edge or the left board edge, I felt safe enough so that Ord Midwinter could go up and just attempt to do a chain lightning. I failed to kill the one assassin there, but I did bounce over and kill Narn. So that's pretty nice. And now, if I can just survive, I can charge in and clear the zone. But again, I'm really worried that, man, right away here, Kaelissa could probably go in and dominate that zone right now. In the end, though, it didn't come down to that at all because it turns out that she ignores my cover from the terrain there. So she just goes up, shoots me, steals my focus, and after 3 fully boosted shots, I'm dead. And so that was pretty bad. By the way the math worked out, even if I hadn't had that one from his steal, he still would have killed me. But that's pretty much it. So there you go. It was a win for Kaelissa. And it's one of these things where I don't really know how to feel about my performance in it. Because in one hand, like here's another game like, oh yeah, I pushed too hard, got my caster killed. But at the same time, he didn't need to even kill my caster like we were talking about. He could have just gone over, dominated on his turn, shot me up, probably destroy another jack, And then on my turn, hopefully, maybe Kale Baylock, if he's still alive, could then contest the zone. I could maybe, if I dedicate everything, clear out the zone to tie up 2-2. After that, he can just start feeding one little assassin or one little, what do you call it? Strike Force guy into there to stop mine. He's dominating his, and then once Kale Baylock is done and he starts destroying more of my jacks with his little crossbows, he's just going to have this scenario in the end. Like, it just, my plan did not work. I needed something more solid to slow him on the left side. If the mule would have survived, I would have felt a little bit more safe. But because of that, I went crazy offensive on the right zone, and it didn't work out. Boom, boom, my guy's dead. So there you have it. But, overall, 2 wins, 1 loss. That's not bad, right? So I'm feeling pretty happy about it. Still loving the mercenaries. This is it pretty much for the Journeyman League stuff. Although it looks like on Thursday I'll be going back to try and help some other people get their 3 games in for the week. But after this, I'll probably be relaxing off from the mercenaries for a while, going back to one of my other factions. I know some people said that Bethane from Legion is pretty weak caster, so I want to bring her out and prove them wrong. But otherwise, there you have it. Please, if you have any comments about any of the games, either something I could have done differently or a way I could have built my list differently, or even on the format of the battle report, just let me know, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Bye.